Hello and welcome. Whoever's watching this, hope you're doing well. I hope you're ready to expand on what you already know about soil. So my name is Tanner, and I'll be telling you about the ecosystem services that soils provide. So here's a graphic from the Food and Agriculture Organization, which shows many of the different services that soils do provide. So you can see provision of food, fiber, and fuel, carbon sequestration, water purification, and soil contaminant reduction, climate regulation, nutrient cycling, habitat for organisms, flood regulation, source of pharmaceuticals and genetic resources, foundation for human infrastructure, provision of construction materials, and cultural heritage. So all of those services can actually be broken up into four main categories, which are provisioning, supporting, regulating, and cultural. So we're going to go ahead and examine where each of those services falls. We'll start off with provisioning services. Provisioning means to provide or supply. So as a body of soil, it provides a place for us to grow things. So obviously we grow food. We also grow fiber and fuel, which, for example, we have tomatoes. We eat tomatoes. We have cotton, which we use to make clothes. It's literally a fiber. And then we have corn, which is used to make ethanol fuel. And then we also have lumber, foundation for infrastructure, and a source of pharmaceuticals. So we grow trees in soil, cut them down, and that's our lumber that we use to build our cities and towns and everything. Soil is also a foundation for infrastructure. Everything we build starts at the soil. And it's also, pretty interestingly, a source of pharmaceuticals. So actually a lot of our medicine starts in the soil from the bacteria that's extracted. And a lot of just medical research involves soil and microorganisms. The next type of service are supporting services. So you might ask, how does soil support its environment? And these would be your answers. Soil is a habitat for many organisms and microorganisms. As you can see, there's a rodent, many earthworms, fungus, bacteria, protozoa. All of those things live in soil, and that's how they survive. On top of that, soil has nutrient cycling abilities, which soils cycle mainly carbon and nitrogen, which provides nutrients to all the vegetation so that they can grow healthily. And it's also a physical foundation for roots, provides physical support to everything that grows. And something very important is soil organic matter, which we've been reading a lot about in Unit 1. Soil organic matter is really important as a supporting service because it provides structure to the soil, creates aggregates, and prevents erosion. Next up, we have regulating services, which are services that maintain the ecosystem in good health, kind of like how our bodies want to be in homeostasis. So we have carbon and nitrogen cycles, which are processes that the soil does to basically take in carbon dioxide, store carbon in the soil, use it as nutrients, and then eventually it gets released back into the air. Soil also cleans water. As rain falls, it moves down through the ground and becomes filtered until it's all the way down in the ground, and it's clean, and we use it as well water, which we can then use to irrigate or even drink. Soil also detoxifies air and regulates the climate. and regulates flooding. So really important. Soil can prevent erosion, and it provides a place for water to go when there's excess amounts of water, so that our streets don't flood. The soil can take all that up. And lastly, we have cultural services. So these are kind of unique and pretty interesting to me. So many ancient civilizations, such as ancient Egypt, used soils as paint, as face paint during wars, and as dye as well, to dye clothes. And Native Americans did that too. Soil also provides us with recreational areas. If you think about anything you do outside, like any type of activity such as mountain biking or hiking or skiing, or even just visiting a national park or the beach, that all involves soil. None of that would be possible without soils. And on top of that, soil is just a topic of discussion and a topic of many songs and books. You might have heard a country song talking about the red clay in the South. Some of the major takeaways are that soils store and recycle carbon. They provide structure for plants and habitats for the living organisms. They also filter water and regulate flooding. Soil organic matter reduces erosion. It also provides nutrients to everything growing. And soils are just a body where we can grow food and grow materials as well, such as lumber or, like I mentioned earlier, cotton. Those are all materials that come from the soil. Basically, life would not be possible without soil. Life depends on soil. Here's a quote from Franklin D. Roosevelt during the Dust Bowl, the 1930s. He says, "The nation that destroys its soil destroys itself." So whether you work in agriculture or not, you can always make an effort to maintain our soils, don't overwork them, and keep them healthy. Thank you for listening.